our pre-season break is all over. It's time for us to get back to business, as it were. This is the Volley pre-season, and we are live.
The following has been brought to you by SJP World Media.
Love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up! It's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror.
Yep, we are live. This is the Volley. I am Matt Lewis. I'm joined by my Liverpool supporting brother from another mother, Darren Griffin. And this is London. And this is London calling America. Conor McCabe, how are you, sir?
I'm doing good, guys. Good to be back.
As always, Conor McCabe's internet is sponsored by Dan Griffin. Some things don't change, and it took all of 30 seconds for Dan to swear at me. Fantastic. So yeah, first of all, I'd like to apologise for the state of my voice. I had a very big night at CXW a couple of nights ago, and my voice has not recovered from screaming, "Fuck him up, Iceman! Fuck him up!" So that's gonna be
amateur. You amateur.
I know. I've never been covered in another man's blood before. That was very, very weird feeling. Very weird. I'm not saying necessarily it was, yeah, but it was a weird feeling. We are live, and this is so we are live. My voice is a little bit hoarse, but I'm here. Conor's here. Dan's here. We're going to talk about what's been happening pre-season. Obviously, the last time we did the Volley, of course, Dan, this happened.
It did, and England went on to the final. And because we weren't, because we didn't go live, England lost. So it was our fault, apparently.
Well, do you know what? Graham says that, and he swears by it. So that's what. And KPB in the chat, evening KPB, who will be making an appearance during the season, of course, at some point. Glenn Abbott also in the chat, obviously fantastic. See you there, sir. And Total Stevo, thank you for the kind words on Twitter just a few moments ago. Thank you very much, sir. So yeah, we are going to go through what's been happening in pre-season, including a few of the bigger transfer dealings. We're going to go through our predictions for the season ahead as well. We're not going to be here all night because some of us have got work in the morning. Connor's affected. Connor's dipping in and out due to various issues with his internet because they've had storms recently. It's pretty hot here in the UK as well, Dan, isn't it? So
Just a little bit.
Yeah. I've been melting quite a bit of work. As soon as Connor's back in, we will bring him back into the chat.
I will just be switching over very quickly because StreamYard logged me out, but Si, the boss man, on his holidays, has just sent me the code to log in properly. So if you bear with me just 1 second.
While you're doing that, I will fill for time, as it were.
I've just got to pop over to another window. Be a tick.
Not a problem. You do that. I will keep our wonderful fans at home and entertained for a few moments. And Connor's already back already. Fantastic. Here he is. I'm going to bring Conor back into the chat. Have you got yourself sorted, Conor?
Yep, I just had to switch to the phone because my laptop could not handle it.
And fair enough. And Mr. Griffin is also back now and now has, despite the fact that he's on his holidays, he got himself sorted out. Right, so, Dan, I'm going to put you in charge of the chat as usual. KPB, the chat, obviously has made his brand new graphics for the new season and will be debuting them this coming Sunday when we've covered Chelsea Man City, which could be either brilliant or an absolute clusterfuck.
The patient has joined us as well. Cam Griffin coming to you live from up there somewhere. In the house.
Your spare room, I believe.
Yeah. Thanks for coming along, Cam, for as long as you can stay awake.
Yeah, always good. So, gentlemen, we are guaranteed today, dearly beloved. Where should we start, Dan? Where do you want to start? Big transfers. Let's start with big transfers, shall we? How about one who's gone through today?
Fabio. We talking about Fabio Carvalho.
Fabio Carvalho is a big one from Liverpool point of view, but also the one that was confirmed today, which of course is Alvarez going to Atletico Madrid for 82 million.
Yeah, Conor's half brother has signed for a massive transfer fee. I'm sorry, Conor. I still think you look like Julian Alvarez. It meant as a compliment.
Well, as confirmed on the Chain Wrestling last night, Conor's special on Mastermind would be handsome footballers. So it's all good.
Yeah, it's a big move for Alvarez. He's going to be leading the line, especially now that it looks like João Felix is going to have a second stint at Chelsea.
Yes.
So yeah, but more power to him. He's 25 now. He needs to be getting the minutes. He didn't get as many as he'd like at City, and obviously for City, it's a massive transfer fee, and they've made a profit on him. So it's good business all round.
It is good business all round.
I'd like to also mention. Sorry, I would also like to mention.
No, go on.
When we're on the topic of Atletico Madrid, there is a chance still, because there's 2 days left in the summer MLS window, that Anton Griezmann could be joining LAFC. But as of right now, there's no reliable sources. So my guess is Griezmann to LAFC will have to wait till the winter window.
I don't think that'll happen.
No, I don't think so either. But to be fair, it would be a big signing for him. Of course, Griezmann's a big player, obviously. So yeah.
Thank you, Steve, for my observation regarding Conor's good looks. And KPB throwing the shade early. My prediction for the season: Man City will escape punishment for their millions of charges.
Yeah, they have said it's going to be done before September. And we have a goal. We have a goal apparently in the championship. Thank you very much.
Our Northwest correspondent.
Thank you, our Northwest correspondent, Steve-O. A goal for Burnley. That will please 82 not Chris and obviously his lordship, of course.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yes.
On a note for Burnley, according to Sky Sports, Sander Berge is not in the squad today, as his reported move to United is getting a little bit more steam, and Sky is reporting as of 19 minutes ago that United have held initial talks for Burnley.
I'm seeing the goal here. Oh, it's a pay. Oh, the kick on through to keep his legs.
Dear.
That's embarrassing for him. Yeah, not hitting into that
Kaminsky.
No. It's not good.
I'm just saying the Luton lineup actually playing Ogbene as a right wing back.
Brownhill,
which is an odd one.
Brownhill scored, yeah.
Oh, fair play to Brownhill. He's been at Burnley for about 87 years.
Oh, yeah. Easy save for traffic. Okay.
Anyway, yeah, we're not covering Luton Burnley.
we're not, but it is nice to just dip in because we did cover them, of course, multiple times last season, of course, which is good.
Yeah.
And
Mark joining us from Project Football. Evening, mate.
Always a pleasure. We look forward to having you again with us during the season. I'll just drop my microphone again.
I mentioned it before. Another transfer gone through today is Carvalho to Brentford. I'm sad to see Carvalho go because when he was with us before he went on loan, he scored a couple of important goals, showed flashes of what he could do. Didn't quite work for him at Leipzig. Did very well at Hull, but again, the money involved is just too good. A deal that will potentially rise to 27.5 million. Liverpool spent 5 million on him, and also a 17.5% sell-on clause.
Yeah.
Which it's just too good to turn down.
There've been a lot of big transfers so far. I mean, some of them have made literally, as mentioned on Good Cop Bad Cop this past week. It was phenomenal that somehow Bournemouth have managed to convince Tottenham Hotspur to pay £65 million for Dominic Solanke.
It was a release clause.
Yeah, but even so, £65 million for Dominic Solanke.
Yeah, I know. And Liverpool get a good kickback from that as well.
I believe it's 10%.
I'd heard 20.
That's even better. That's 13 million. That's more than we sold him for.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of insane, and also it goes to a point. I was talking earlier to a friend of mine who supports Man United, who was trying to have a laugh at the Liverpool board because the trope is that the Liverpool board say they're always skint, and he said, but suddenly they're pulling out 50-odd million quid potentially for Martin Zubimendi. I said, well, it might have something to do with the fact that we've just got 20 million up front for Carvalho, around about potentially 15 million from the Solanke deal, and potentially another 10. Yeah, and then another 10 million coming in from Bobby Clark going to RB Salzburg potentially.
I'm sad to see him go. I like Bobby Clark.
Yeah, but he gets to play a high level of football with a coach who knows him, and if we get a buyback or a sell on again, then
I dare say it will be.
The business is just too good. Steve-O confirming to me that it's in fact 88 years that Josh Brownhill has been at Burnley.
Absolutely fantastic.
And KPB, the transfer window's passed him by, not seen any moves or anything, any I should know. Well, I was just getting the list up actually of key transfers today as well. Spurs have sold Emerson Royal to AC Milan. I don't know what the price was, about 15 or 12.5 million. One of the most ridiculous is Chelsea paying 60 million to Wolves for Pedro Neto.
He's a good player, but he's not. But he's 60 million.
When he's available, he's a good player. They've paid all that money for a player who's missed 52 games, I think, in the last 2 seasons.
Let's look at. Konor. I think was it you, Konor, or was it Dan, who in our private chat shared that image, which has been doing around on social media, of 45 first-team players available.
It was Konor. Yeah,
it was Konor. Konor's pretty good on his stats and his facts. That's why he's on the team. To be fair, so me and Dan had to have days off for that sort of thing. He's really good at that.
Speaking of transfers, we just had a deal from the Championship go through. According to Sky Sports, Anthony Jones, Celtic had agreed a deal worth up to £9.5 million for Norwich City striker Adam Adea. The initial fee is $8.5 million with $1 million worth of add-ons. And Norwich
that's quite a big deal for them.
Norwich also inserted a 15% sell-on clause to the deal.
So I love hearing all these sell-on clauses now. It reminds me of Football Manager.
I do it all the time. I used to do it. I used to put a 50% sell-on clause in to guarantee to get signing.
We've been bouncing around for a bit. Shall we start? Shall we start alphabetically?
Why not? We'll go AFC, Bournemouth, or Arsenal?
No, we'll go Arsenal. We'll go by place name first. It's also the list in the way that the FPL website's got it here. So
who's the ins?
There's a massive amount of outgoings for Arsenal, but it looks mostly academy players, youth players. Most notable outward of El Neni, Cedric Suarez, Arthur Okonkwo. That's really it. Nuno Tavares and Albert Sambi-Lokonga both gone out on loan, but the incomings, they've signed somebody called. Sorry, quick. Go on, Konor.
You missed on one big outing.
Smith Rowe.
Road to Fulham.
It was at the bottom of the list, and my thumb was over it. For what it's worth, I think that he's going to be a really good signing for Fulham, Emil Smith Rowe. But we'll come to that in a bit. The ins, David Raya, we all knew was coming in because of the buy option. The mandatory buy option there. Somebody called Tommy Setford from Ajax, Lucas Nygaard from FC Nordjylland. But the big one, Riccardo Calafiori, £51 million. I don't know enough about this guy. I saw little bits of him at the Euros. I was going to say it's a large amount of money, but that's maybe me having a bit of an old head now because, people are paying 40 and 50 million for squad players nowadays, but he's a young player.
Chelsea said, that's the son.
Yeah. Oh, Matt's getting his leg over. Or up at least. I hope that's his guy anyway.
Is that or cramp?
Fair enough. I thought you were just airing out your love spuds.
Jesus Christ, moving on.
But yeah, Konor, I have to ask you, are you happy with Calafiori coming in?
As the resident Arsenal fan, go for Konor.
From what I've heard, he can play center back or left back. If I had to guess, he's probably going to slide into that left back role, and that's going to open room for Zinchenko to play in the midfield where he plays his best and where he plays for Ukraine. But I think having another option at left back just helps us out because with Tomiyasu injured, we got Calafiori and Timber can play there as well. So it just adds more versatility to back line.
Yeah, KPB, they're saying pretty much exactly what I said, but more succinctly, not seen enough of him yet, but good reputation, yeah. Why not? Losing Emil Smith-Rowe, bit of a disappointment maybe, but getting all that money for an academy player, again, it just makes good financial sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Arteta keeping the core of his main team together as well, which is the important thing. I mean, people may be a bit more wary this year about some of Arteta's business. Let's not forget, of course, how many people ridiculed him for signing with Kai Havertz, and he turned out to be a revelation.
And some people called that it would be a good signing because it turns out Arteta was quite shrewd, and now it's certainly in a lot of the FPL stuff that I listen to. There's a lot of people bringing him in and thinking that Kai Havertz is going to be a big player.
It's almost like people, Steve-O, didn't think it'd be a good signing. I can't imagine why,
Oh, calling people out by name.
We love you, Steve-O. We love you, Steve-O. It's okay. You can, every now and again, you can be wrong. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah. Shall we move on to Villa?
Yes, as a Villa, they've been crafty as usual.
They have. They've sold Moussa Diaby for a massive profit, I believe. So I think it was 60 million out, and they paid about 20 million for him. So a 40 million pound profit, which is mental because he had about a good 2-3 months before he fell off. Yeah. Signed Ross Barkley, I believe, on a free. They've lost Douglas Luiz, which is potentially a big loss. But then they've got 2 youth players in Enzo Baranecchia and Samuel Illing Jr. No need to discuss Villa, says the West Brom fan. Well, funnily enough, Villa have loaned West Brom Lewis Dobbin, who they signed from Everton. And Glenn there saying, Smith-Rowe's hardly played in the last 2 seasons, at least at Fulham he'll get regular football. Yeah, it's similar to Carvalho. That's it. And Cam saying he's a fan of Emil Smith-Rowe and hopes he does well. He's actually in my Fantasy Premier League team at the minute, Smith-Rowe. And it's looking difficult to dislodge him. But with Villa, Douglas Luiz could have been a big loss, but they brought in Amadou Onana for 50 million.
Yes, you did, Steve. Yes, you did.
Oh, I've got Steve, believe me. Don't question Matt on these things. He will have it signed. He will have it noted somewhere and time-stamped.
Audio clip next week, sort of thing. Everyone's had an off day. Not everyone. Even Fergie got it wrong every now and again. I mean, look at who was that guy? The thing, Cleberson, was it? Or Bebe. Never saw him play.
Taibi, Mame Biram Diou. Anyway, we'll stop mocking Man United because that'll probably bite me in the ass. They'll sign Ian Maatsen from Chelsea as well, who played in the Champions League final with Dortmund. Another good signing, and they've managed to get Coutinho's wage bill off the books by loaning him out to Vasco da Gama. Yes,
I, as somebody who really loved Coutinho when he was at Liverpool, obviously, it's a shame that he started like a house of fire at Villa, but then just tailed off. It's a shame.
He really did. Mark there saying makes a change for a Villa youth player to go to us rather than rob all of ours. Yeah, actually, Mark made that same point on the It's Only a Game podcast, Season Predictors. They covered predictions for the National League upwards. So go listen to that. Great listen, Mark's on there guesting. Good bunch of lads. Absolutely. And Glenn Abbott there just agreeing with Cam. But I think Villa have done some shrewd business here, I think. And it remains to be seen how they're going to cope with the sort of the Champions League hangover. But they've got a manager who is well versed in European competition and sorting that out. So I think they're going to do well again under Emery this season.
I think so too.
But we'll come to that. Sorry, Conor, go on.
I enjoyed Villa the past couple of seasons, but I was high on Brighton last year.
You were high, yeah. Leave it there, mate. Really.
I think Aston Villa is going to have the same European football fall off like Brighton did last season. They'll put all their eggs into the Champions League basket and kind of dip a little bit in league play. But I don't know. It just depends what they prioritize more. Do they prioritize league play, or do they prioritize the Premier League play?
I do get that thinking, Connor, but I still think Emery is going to be a massive factor. He's a wily old campaigner, and he's such a good manager. And also, let's not forget that we're not at the end of the transfer window yet, so there could still be moves to make for Villa. But we'll discuss that more, no doubt, when we get to the league predictions.
Yes. Where are we up to then, next young man?
Bournemouth. Yeah, we're off to the Bees. Well, yeah, Bournemouth. Signed Luis Sinistera from Leeds after having him on loan last season. They've got Ines Unal from Getafe coming. They've signed Daniel Jefferson on a free, who was impressive for Sheffield United, I believe, not last season, but the season before. Dean Hyson from Juventus, who was linked with Liverpool for quite a while, is a very big signing. And they've got potentially Araujo coming in from Barcelona as well.
That deal's already done. The Araujo deal.
Yeah, I think it's pretty much signed and sealed, but it's not come up on the permanent transfers yet. It's just the big hole in the team now is what to do up front with losing Dominic Solanke. Massive for them last season. Oh, and they lost Lloyd Kelly on a free as well, centre back to Newcastle. So two big holes to fill there, but we'll see how they invest the 40-odd million or so that they've got from the Solanke deal. It's not bad business from Bournemouth, but they relied so heavily on Solanke's goals. It's hard to see at the minute where they're coming from.
Let's not forget, of course, that there's still 2 weeks of the transfer window left as of this Friday.
Just a little insight to what we'll be doing after this. I've got a little spreadsheet set up, and we're going to do our picks as we always do. I've got 2 sections on the spreadsheet for our picks as of tonight, and then if we want to make any changes after the transfer window shuts. So we'll be covering the transfer window shutting, I believe, won't we, Matt?
We will be. We're covering. It's a Friday night as well this year. It's Friday night, the 30th of August. It's not even in September this year. It's August 30th. We'll be covering it right here on the Volley. The last hour and maybe the hour after, so we can just run through everything that's been going on, sort of thing, throughout the window. Perfect. Lovely.
And then we can make any changes to our league predictions that we might want to make.
We can indeed.
So we'll just see how it all evolves, and I'll be monitoring who's top and who's where at Christmas, and then we'll look at the end of the season. And I'm going to devise a little point system just for fun to see which one of us gets the better of the predictions. Yeah, well, I know how competitive you are, so you'll be asking me every week who's leading.
I'm not that bad. I am.
Yes, you are.
Fulham was going to go down last year.
Yes.
Who said that?
I did.
Fulham, really? Fulham?
I know. I wanted them to go down last year. Last year.
So the heart ruled the head.
Yeah, and I did poo-poo that one straight away. Cameron says, "Think from to do some work in the window as well." We'll get to them. Don't worry about that, Cam.
Very shortly, yeah. We'll breeze through Brentford because there's not been a massive amount. Apart from Carvalho, they've signed Igor Thiago from Club Bruges. Bit of an unknown quantity because I don't know anything about the Belgian league. Lost David Raya, obviously, but they've got Flecken, who's more than capable deputy, more than capable of stepping up. They've released Shandon Baptiste, Saman Ghoddos, Neil Maupay's loan ended, Reguilon's loan ended a while ago. They've got rid of Thomas Strakosha, who was another goalkeeper who they only signed a couple of years ago, just never quite panned out for him. So not much to talk about with Brentford. I don't see them doing too much better than last season, but I will be keeping an eye out on Carvalho. One of Conor's favoured teams, Brighton, doing what Brighton do. They've lost Pascal Gross, who will be a big miss. He's gone over to Borussia Dortmund I believe on a free transfer. They've released Adam Lallana, who's done a bit here and there for him. But not overly much. They've signed Yankuba Minte from Newcastle, who is
that's true.
Yeah, but I've no idea who he was before the transfer went through. All I know is it was one of the transfers that helped Newcastle, stave off the PSR demons. So they've signed players, Mats Vifa from Feyenoord, Mario Koza Dubry from Arsenal, one of the Arsenal youth players, and Dennis Undav, they made. He's gone out. Sorry, he's gone to Stuttgart. So yeah, not a lot happening there, but it's Brighton, so there's every chance that they've unearthed some absolute hidden gems and they're going to storm to another great season.
It's absolutely the case. By the way, just been announced. By the way, Preston's manager has resigned.
Already?
I've had an unbelievable 2.5 years, met some incredible people and coached some fantastic players, but the time is to move on. I've stressed that I walked into it, if I can't take the club any further, I'll leave it to someone else to do what I'm doing. Literally, yeah. I mean,
For one game?
One game lost 2-0, but also he lost the last 5 at the end of last season as well.
Oh, I thought Preston won their opening game this week.
They lost to Sheffield United 2-0. It's a mutual consent thing. I mean, Peter Ridgewell didn't fucking charge. That's why. That explained the great about deal. Right. So where were we, Daniel?
Strap in, folks. Brighton. It's Chelsea time.
We've done Brighton, haven't we? Yeah, so it's Chelsea.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot going on there. Chelsea, right. Okay. Thiago Silva's gone.
Yeah.
Are we including loans ending?
No, not loans.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 transferred out.
Okay, so
and 5 loaned.
Okay, so 14 players have left the club in total.
Yep.
That's pretty good until you look at the other side of the coin. Mr. Griffin.
9 in.
So 9 out, 9 in. That's not too bad.
And Amanda Broja come back off loan as well, so that's 10 technically.
Yeah, but then you also add to the fact of how many players were already there as well.
Yeah, and how many deals are still ongoing that haven't been completely signed off yet. I will say though, they've lost players like Thiago Silva, Hakim Ziyech, Ian Matson, as we said earlier. Amari Hutchinson's gone on permanently to Ipswich. Malang Sarr's been finally put out of his misery and been released. But then one of the bits of really good business I think they did was getting Tosin Adarabioyo on a free. Given his displays last season, he was a player that I was really hoping Liverpool would look at as a fourth centre back. As a centre back option.
Maybe they did.
Potentially, yeah. But Chelsea obviously flinging the money around, still getting away with it on PSR and stuff like that. So whatever. And the other one's Mark Guiu from Barcelona. 6 million, I think his release clause was.
Yeah.
Young striker, 6 million quid. If he works out, brilliant. If he doesn't work out, you've not really lost much.
No, in the grand scheme of things, no, it's not too bad at all.
But then it's been flashing. It's been flashing around 8 figures. 8-figure sums on the likes of Renato Vega, Caleb Wiley, Philip Jorgensen. I've no idea who these are. And the big one, as we mentioned, was Pedro Neto, which is a bit of an insane one for me. And then Kane and Dewsbury Hall at 35 million. Is he going to be worth that, or is it Danny Drinkwater all over again?
No, or worse, Steve Sidwell.
I think Steve Sidwell had a better career.
No, Chelsea didn't.
Fair enough. Yeah, so it's Chelsea. Who knows? Enzo Maresca, untested at this level, but he's one of Pep's disciples. Arteta was relatively untested. In fact, he was more untested than Maresca, because at least Maresca's got a championship to his name.
That's quite true.
To add another player to Chelsea's loan army,
of course.
Young American goalkeeper Gaga Salina to League One side Barnsley on loan for the
Barnsley.
Northern lad.
My neck of the woods.
Yeah, to be fair, right now getting players off the books is the most important thing at the moment for Chelsea. For sure, you'd start to think, and apparently they bring them in.
Apparently, now that Neto's in, they're looking to sell Raheem Sterling.
Okay.
So who knows where he'll land?
Who needs Sterling? Beside the bank.
I could see him landing at somewhere like Newcastle.
I'm surprised he didn't go there himself, because I thought when he left City, I thought he could go to Newcastle and he could be the man. He could be the big name signing, But he didn't, did he? at first, but he went to Chelsea.
Yeah.
And because of
I could see Everton splashing big on him.
Everton right now can't do that. They ain't got.
When's that stopped them?
They haven't got 80 to put together. Because let's not forget, we're going to come to Everton momentarily, of course, how another of their takeover deals has fallen through because they didn't like the structure of the debt that was there. They didn't trust that it was legit. And that's worrying for anyone coming in now. Who's going to touch Everton?
Yeah, very true.
We'll come to that momentarily.
As I mentioned before as well, João Felix potentially coming back to Chelsea as part of the deal to take Conor Gallagher out after the deal for Samuel Meridian fell through. Apparently, he looked at Chelsea's offer and called it insulting. So he's stuck to his principles and he's staying at Atletico.
That takes a lot to turn down Chelsea sometimes.
Yeah. Now a team I'm actually quite excited for this season. Crystal Palace.
Why are you excited, Daniel?
Because they were looking really bloody good under Oliver Glasner last season. Mm-hmm. They have lost Michael Olise to Bayern, and that's a big loss. But they've brought in his place, they've brought in Daichi Kamada from Lazio, Japanese player, who's, every time I've seen him play, I've been impressed. And someone who's a bit more sort of mercurial and inconsistent, which is a polite way of saying inconsistent, Ismail Assar, who had that stint at Watford.
Yeah.
Played very well for them. We won't talk about him scoring all those goals and ending Liverpool's winning run in the title-winning season. The bastard.
We won't talk about it, no.
And at the minute, they're keeping hold of Gehi. They do have plans for if he leaves. They're keeping hold of Eze. They do have plans for if he leaves. If they can keep hold of one of those, probably being Eze, with Gehi potentially going to Newcastle, and bring in the reinforcements, I think Crystal Palace can do a little bit this season. I'm not saying they'll tear up trees and break into Europe or the top four or anything like that. But I think they're going to be a very good team.
Newcastle have made a third bid this evening for Mark Gay, so we'll have to find out. Well, I keep calling him Mark Gay.
Well, you can do that. I can't.
Me and Colin both do that. Of course, it's fine.
Exactly.
But yeah, I think he would be a great signing for Newcastle. They definitely need that rock in defence, and we saw in the Euro. We commentated multiple times on his performances. He was solid throughout.
He was England's best player.
Yeah, brilliant.
So yeah, I'm convinced. I'm convinced by Crystal Palace. I think they'll be. I think they'll be all right this season.
Well,
now, do you think they'll make a legitimate European push, or do you think they'll
no? The absolute best that Palace could hope for would be Europa Conference League. I think that'll be a step too far. They'll be just outside that, but I think they'll be playing some really good football, and we'll see them potentially upsetting a few of the traditional Big Six.
Yeah,
and potentially making a decent cup run.
Yeah, I mean, League Cup sort of thing. Yeah, now. If my maths is correct here, I do believe we're heading to the other side of Stanley Park, Daniel.
We are. We're heading over to Everton.
I say this with love. I've got a lot of friends who are Everton fans, and I love them dearly. But I'm for a Schadenfreude right now.
Yeah, there's been some activity though. They've finally got Andre Gomez off the wage bill, which is a shame because at his best, Andre Gomez, fantastic player, great to watch. They don't have Arnaut Danjuma anymore because his loan's expired. Sold Lewis Dobbin to Villa, who's then gone on to West Brom. They brought in Tim Irogbenham from Villa. I don't know anything about him. I know he's popped up in Emery's teams a couple of times, but obviously they felt he was expendable. They've loaned in Jack Harrison again, who's a decent player. Decent enough, he does a job, very good delivery on him. They've sold Ben Godfrey to Atalanta. Now, Ben Godfrey, I believe, used to play for York City, so it's nice to see an ex-York lad coming good. He'll be in the Champions League next season. Brought in Omari Benjamin from Arsenal. I've no idea about him. And a player I was hoping to see in the Premier League last season when Sheffield United came up. They've signed Iliman Ndiaye from Marseille. Didn't have too good a time of it out there. Bagged a few goals.
Yeah.
But we'll see what he can do back in England. And beyond that, they've brought Jake O'Brien, who believes an Irish centre-back in from Lyon, and signed Jesper Lindstrom, a winger from Napoli. So, and obviously, the biggest loss is Onana. On there, I don't know of a like-for-like replacement for him, unless they're going to do something like drop Decore back or something like that.
I think they might have to do something along those lines, but I mean, Sean Dyche performed miracles last season when he came in and kept them up despite two point deductions.
And apparently they might be starting off with another one. Already read something about potentially another points deduction for them being 6.5 million out on the latest PSR calculator.
Which is not good.
But how true that is, I don't know.
We'll find it. But Konor will keep a better with that stuff, of course. But yeah, it's definitely confirmed about Samu Omorron is definitely off due to contract issues. Yes, have been confirmed.
Yeah, just couldn't make that work. But yeah, I think it's potentially going to be another struggle for Everton. But the upside for them is that Sean Dyche has finally got them defending like a Sean Dyche team.
Yeah, it's not attractive football, but it works.
Yep, and when you're fighting against potential relegation and points deductions, that's what you need. Fulham next, big loss in João Palhinha. He's already gone. Yeah, another one over to Bayern. So Bayern have got Olise and Palhinha there. Lost Tosin Adarabioyo, who was an absolute rock in their defence last season. Former captain Tim Ream, US men's team legend. Tim Ream has gone over to Charlotte. And they brought back Ryan Sessegnon, brought in Emil Smith-Rowe and someone called Jorge Cuenca, who I know nothing about, so I can't judge. But of those, I don't mind seeing Sessegnon back.
Sounds like a bad porn actor.
Let's not go back down the footballers as porn star.
No, let's not do that before Graham gets drunk in the chat, shall we? No. So so Konor, as our MLS correspondent, what will Ream bring to Charlotte?
Experience. His age is, I don't think it's a factor, but he's done everything he can for Fulham, and I think they just wanted to get a younger center back in. His contract was up, but I think a good move to Charlotte is a good career move for him. He can play a couple years in Charlotte and retire.
2-0 Burnley, thanks Steve-O, letting us know there. Yeah, you said about Fulham bringing in another centre-back. They still haven't done that. Unless Cuenca's a centre-back, I'm not entirely sure. But bringing Ryan Sessegnon in at left-back's good. He knows the club. And it just never really worked out for him at Tottenham, so more power to him. Excited to see Smith-Rowe get some regular minutes as well.
Yeah, we want to see him, and maybe back in England, you never know. I mean, we've seen some players from outside the big four, as it were, this year get back into the England team. That's
at least on a short-term level, Lee Carsley knows Smith-Rowe well, from the under-21 days. So
let's not start with Lee Carsley, because I've never seen a more arrogant interview in my fucking life.
I haven't seen it, thankfully, so there's no piss to boil. But instead, we'll move on to Ipswich.
Yes. It's a case of when or if they get relegated for me.
Yeah,
because you know how anti-Norwich I was last season. Triple it with Ipswich.
Norwich isn't even in the Premier League,
and they were last season.
Norwich weren't.
Were they not?
You said no.
Norwich definitely weren't in the Premier League last season, Matthew.
They got
has someone been on the wine again?
Yes, I have been on the wine again.
You were in Fulham.
Yeah, to be fair, I was just glad they went down. On that note, though, Norwich has announced that Delia Smith's stepping down.
Oh, that's the end of an era.
Yeah, next season she'll be gone.
Anyway,
they got to go down for me. So
yeah, well, they made Amari Hutchinson's loan permanent, as we said before. That's a good sign for them. Again, he performed in the Championship, give him a chance in the Premier League. Why not? A signing I quite like. They brought in Ben Johnson from West Ham, and he's a player who I've been impressed with quite a few times when I've seen him play. It's going to be good to see what he can do with regular minutes in his legs. They've got rid of a load of players, but I don't know if they're important to them or not. But a couple of signings stand out here. Ariane Muric from Burnley, the keeper. They've signed him, and they've signed Liam Delap from Manchester City, Rory's boy. So at least they've got throw-ins covered.
Is he as good as his dad at throw-ins?
Liam
I've
Delap,
no idea. I was just making a joke.
he was up at Hull last season. He's not the striker that's going to score you 15 goals a season, but he's good enough to. Is he good? He's good enough to get you maybe 3 or 4. I don't know if he'll score enough goals for his Ipswich to stay up, but time will tell.
I mean, even taking my bias out of it here, Ipswich are going to be up against it from the get-go. Their first game of the season is this Saturday at Pullman Road against Liverpool, and if it's not 4 or 5 to Liverpool, I'll be extremely surprised. Ipswich just haven't got the squad depth to compete in the Premier League for me. They haven't.
It could be a case of valiant effort for little return, like Luton last season.
Yeah.
Speaking of Liverpool, they are still pushing for midfielder Martin Zubiemi from Real Sociedad.
Yeah, he's apparently been given a deadline of Wednesday, but yeah, it's getting a bit murky, that one. So Ipswich, some good bits of business, but I don't think it'll be enough, as Matt said. But we'll get to our league predictions in a bit. Another newly promoted team, Leicester. They've lost long-serving player Mark Albrighton. Kelechi Iheanacho has gone over to Turkey, I believe. Can't remember where he's landed, but his contract had ended. Dennis Pratt's left. Sold Kiernan Dewsbury Hall to Chelsea. So that's a good few outgoings.
There is a rumor that Wilfred Zaha is going to Leicester. Do I think they get the deal done? Probably not. I don't know what it's like. I haven't heard anything official.
I think if Zaha leaves Palace, he goes to.
Zaha left Palace last year. He's in Turkey now.
Oh, of course he's in fucking Turkey. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, Galatasaray.
Yeah.
Coach Steve saying as well, Zaha apparently joining tomorrow.
Yeah, but I also think that he would make. I mean, Leicester are former league champions, and to be fair, they very well could. If they can shoot him over league. Yeah, thank you very much, Theo, for your heads up there.
I'm going to say this right now. This is probably going to be my bold take of the season, and y'all can clip it. Y'all can do whatever you want to. If Leicester put pen to paper for Wilfred Zaha, then they're staying up by the skin of their teeth. I'm going to say that now. If the Zaha deal gets done, then it will be enough to keep Leicester up from an attacking standpoint. But barely. Like, they'll barely survive. Like, last day survives.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton.
Very bold strategy, for sure.
Leicester incomings.
Yeah.
They've signed Bobby De Cordova-Reid from Fulham, good solid Premier League player. Into his 30s now, but that doesn't mean that you're shocked by any stretch of the imagination. I don't know who Michael Golding and Caleb Okoli are, but they've signed those two from Chelsea and Atalanta, respectively. They've made Abdul Fatahu's initial loan spell permanent from Sporting Lisbon. He played quite well from last season, apparently. And they've also loaned in Buonanotte from Brighton. So another solid player who knows the league. Steve was saying, according to sources, he's on his way, probably getting a points deduction. Well, this was the thing. There was a lot of PSR talk around Leicester, and none of it's come to fruition yet. I don't know if the sale of Kiernan Dewsbury Hall just sort of kept the wolf from the door, as it were.
I think if Leicester wants to stay up or make an attempt to stay up this season, they need a goalkeeper. I like Hennessy just as much as the next guy, but he's not a Premier League caliber goalkeeper.
Is he handsome, Connor? Is he handsome? Is that why you like him?
Possibly.
I see yeah. We know your game, McCabe. We know your game. It's all...
Moving swiftly on to one of the teams that there is actually not that much to talk about, apart from outgoings, Liverpool.
Yeah.
No
It's weird,
incomings
isn't
as
it?
yet.
Not as yet, no. Not
A
as
few
yet.
irons in the fire, apparently. We've mentioned Zubimendi a couple of times. Just quickly on that, the last I saw today was for an update from Paul Joyce over, I believe he works for the Echo, saying that both parties, Liverpool and Real Sociedad, have given Zubimendi till Wednesday to make his fucking mind up. Essentially, he's kind of dithering. He's got doubts. Got a lot of doubts about leaving his hometown club, but he likes the look of Slot's Liverpool project. And both sides are basically waiting for him to shit or get off the pot.
Am I the only one that likes that Liverpool hasn't made a big name signing yet? Because I think what Arne Slot wants to do is he wants to see what he has to work with first. Because a lot of managers, they'll come into a new club and they'll spend 100 million, looking at you, Chelsea, on on 5 new players. And like I would prefer if managers would just say, okay, let's get through preseason with the players that we have now, and if we need to add depth in certain places, then we hit the market.
I'm quite relaxed about it, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that I've always, you see it all the time. I'm going to use it as an example. On all the FIFA games, it would say in the press conference, like, you've not been active in the transfer window. Do you need to be in players? I'm like, I've got everyone I need. Back off. I know it's not quite a thing, but if you don't, Tony Pruit is the perfect example. It's at Stoke. You don't buy a square peg for a round hole. You buy the player you need for that role. I mean, there had been some talk of Endo being shipped out as well, apparently, which is a shame. I like Endo.
Yeah, I do as well. The thing is, the worst thing, as things stand, worst case scenario for Arne Slot is that he's taken over a team that came third in the league last season. We haven't lost anyone who was vital to that running. Joe Matip, Thiago, and Adrian have all left on freeze. Thiago had about 20 minutes. Matip was out most of the season with an injury, and Adrian has made 5 appearances in 3 seasons. Calvin Ramsey was loaned out. He's made 2 appearances. Mr. Arroyo, don't know who that is.
Jota has been your guys' best player outside of Salah.
Can you say that again, please, Dan?
I said Diego Jota has been your best player outside of Mohamed Salah.
True.
You weren't talking about Jota.
No. So who is it saying you've not heard of before?
Anderson Arroyo.
No, he's just come through the academy, yeah.
Yeah, another youth team player who's gone out to Burgos. We've loaned out Morozek. We've sold Billy Kumatio, who was 22 and hadn't really. He was behind Reece Williams and Nat Phillips.
Good money though as well. For good money.
Yeah, decent money, good few million. Lewis Kumas has been loaned out to get some minutes at Stoke, and we've sold Fabio Carvalho for up to 27.5 million if the add-ons come through.
Sadly, Fabio go, of course, but very intrigued to see how he gets on at Stoke, because I think at Stoke, as our numbers surged and just briefly there as well. Go on, please come in, Konor.
So, if I think there's going to be a big name exit from Liverpool, that is not this window, the winter window. As I think that name's going to be Cody Gakpo. I don't really know how he fits into this Liverpool squad, but I think he's could be out his way out the door.
Not with the Dutch coach coming in, not at first. Gakpo, and especially not after having such a prolific Euros either.
Yeah, he was on fire, yeah.
Or does he come off the bench?
I think given that front line Liverpool now have Nunes, who was tearing up in the Copa America, of course, as well, we know. Jota, who one of the best players Liverpool have had out of nowhere.
When he's fit.
When he's fit, he's unplayable at times. I mean, I'd pick any of them alongside. I mean, Salah as well. Now he's got his streamlined hairstyle as well. He's absolutely on fire in pre-season as well. And Graham was very pleased to see him at Lincoln Stadium in pre-season.
For a second there, I thought you meant Lincoln City.
Anyway, they played Arsenal, and he did gloat a bit, Konor, about Liverpool beating Arsenal in pre-season. So you can take out the next one a good card, bad card.
Just a quick last thing on Liverpool. A couple of rumours, one with a bit more substance to it than the other. Apparently, Liverpool are looking at the Georgian keeper, Georgian Mamardashvili, to come in.
Yeah.
Which seems a bit of an odd one, unless it means that there's a deal for Kelleher incoming and we're going to have Mamardashvili and Alisson. That wouldn't be a bad thing. And one of the weirder ones, and this is unsubstantiated, so just take it with a pinch of salt. Adrian Rabiot is available on a free, and apparently Slot's idea is to have Zubamendi and Rabiot in the middle of the park, along with Szoboszlai playing a deeper role whenever he starts. And essentially in a 4-2-3-1, and then having Harvey Elliott behind the striker, whether that be Nunes, Gakpo, or Jota.
That's very tasty.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like a very Liverpool transfer. Although we did sign James Milner when he was 30 on a free, so forget half of what we did out of Rabiot. But like I say, unsubstantiated, probably what happened.
Absolutely, and as we've always said on this show, a free transfer is not a gamble.
No.
Free transfer, you can't. Is low risk. Nothing better than that.
Yeah.
Doesn't get better than that.
So we'll shift on to Man City.
Yes.
They have.
Go on.
They haven't brought in anybody, have they?
Yes, they have.
They have.
They've brought in Savinho from a club from French club Troyes. Who was I believe on loan at Girona last season, and they're all clubs under the City group.
Yeah, they're paying each other the money, obviously.
Yeah. Other than that, they've sold Alvarez, got rid of Sergio Gomez, got rid of Liam Delap, a couple of youth player loans, and that's about it really. So a fairly quiet summer for Man City. But when you've got a squad as good as theirs,
there is, of course, still the big. There's just two elephants in the room, of course, which are both Saudi elephants, of course. Will De Bruyne and will Ederson be there coming in the transfer window? I know.
Pep's already said that Ederson is staying.
True, but sometimes the loan money, if it comes at the right moment, they could say if they say we'll give you 150 million for him, sort of thing. It was like
they were struggling to get the Saudi offers were struggling to get to the 40 million that they wanted for Ederson. So
I'm saying we don't know what's going to happen between now and then, of course.
Yeah, but I'd class it as highly unlikely. I think if that deal was going to happen, it would have happened. Every club that was linked with Ederson has already signed a different keeper.
De Bruyne, though,
there is still a lot.
There's been a lot of people saying is that the only time they're going to see him in that new Man City shirt? I was like, it's a little harsh. I think he played a weekend in it.
Yeah, he did. But yeah, City don't lose De Bruyne for me. It's a bit like when the Saudis came in for Salah last season. It just ain't going to happen.
True, but we'll obviously keep our eyes on the Saudi transfers, obviously as they try and buy players, of course. Off to United, then there's been some.
I do have breaking news regarding Manchester United.
Breaking news. Bring it. I have a button for this. I actually have a button for this. I haven't used this button for a long time. Where is it? Here it is. This better have been worth it, Konor.
According to Sky Sports, Damush Seith, I butchered that name, Bayern Munich defensive duo Mathis De Ligt and Nossar Mazzouri have completed their medicals ahead of joining Man United.
Yeah.
The De La Jet deal is worth 50 million euros or 42.9 million pounds, with an additional 45 million euro fee to that, plus 5 million euros in add-ons. And De La Jet would need to be registered by midday on Thursday to be available for Manchester United's opening Premier League match against Fulham on Friday. Going on to Mount Nazari, the 24-year-old spent 2 seasons at Bayern Munich since joining from Juventus, playing 73 times and scoring 5 goals. And De La Jet and Erik ten Hag are reunited from their time at Ajax, where they won the 2019 Eredivisie title.
KPB. I think Tony Khan spending 20 million pre-season on Mone, Okada and Osprey could be great business for Fulham. Well, it'd be better than for AEW.
With regard to that, it's a big one.
Delict and Mazraoui, it's more good defensive reinforcements, and then they kind of need that. With looks like Wan-Bissaka's leaving to go to West Ham. Lenny Yoro, Lenny Yoro was one of the other Man U incomings, is going to be out for a little while with an injury. So they need that defensive cover, really. They started the Community Shield with Slabhead Maguire and 103-year-old Johnny Evans, which wasn't ideal. But they still managed to take it to penalties. They've signed the only other incoming is Josh Zirkzee up front.
Good striker.
Yeah, apparently so. By Konor. Hi, Konor. And then they've just had a big clear out otherwise of Man U. Varane, Alvaro Fernandez, Anthony Martial, Brandon Williams, Amari Forson, Charlie McNeil, Donny van de Beek, Willie Campwala, Shola Shortire, and a rapist have all been shown the door at Man United.
Yes, that'd be Mr. Greenwood, I imagine.
Sorry, I misspoke. An unconvicted rapist. Just for the sake of fairness.
And the league
just
doesn't change you the terrible person. Man United have done.
Oh, sorry, the big loss for Man U. Tom Huddleston's been released. He was doing a Jay Spearing. Jay Spearing is playing for Liverpool's under 21 teams and coaching at the same time. Huddleston was doing that at Man United.
Absolutely, that's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. So,
they needed to clear out though, so fair play to them.
Yep, they got it done. Right, so I believe we're off to the northeast.
Why, man, we're off up to Newcastle again. Had a bit of a clear out. Paul Dummett, Matt Ritchie, Loris Karius, Jeff Hendrick, all released.
I'm going to stop you right there, Dan, because there is some breaking news regarding Newcastle.
I'm not putting them on again.
According to Fabrizio Romano, Charlotte FC representatives have made the trip to Newcastle and are pushing to sign Miguel Almiron from Newcastle with 2 days left in the MLS transfer window.
That'd be a good signing all
right
around.
Now, Newcastle and Charlotte are holding positive talks, but it's looking unlikely that Almiron will be sold this window if they were to sell
him. He'd be a good signing for you, for sure.
To remind everybody, Miguel Almiron was part of that stacked Atlanta United team with Julian Gressel, Josef Martinez, Darlington Nagbe, who won the 2018 MLS Cup.
Fair enough. I didn't actually know that.
I'm sorry, Konor. I've forgotten. Who are the current MLS Cup champions?
Columbus.
That was a cheap plug for you guys.
So just back to the Newcastle transfers quickly. 35 million quid for Elliot Anderson in a PSR balancing transfer to Nottingham Forest. The goalkeeper Odysseus Vlachodimos went the other way. They sold Yankuba Minte to Brighton, as we said before. Bringing in Lloyd Kelly on a free from Bournemouth, I think is a great bit of business at centre-back. So now the centre-backs are Botman, Lloyd Kelly and potentially Mark Gahey. That's a hell of a centre-back unit for Newcastle.
Phenomenal.
and potentially Dan Burn can fill in there as well, just on sheer height alone. They've made the Lewis Hall transfer permanent from Chelsea. They signed John Ruddy as a third-choice keeper from Birmingham City after they got relegated, and brought in William Osula from Sheffield United after he got relegated. So not bad. Not an enormous amount spent. Again, a lot of book balancing going on, but won't do Newcastle any harm, really.
No, smart business being done. Obviously, banning the book is difficult nowadays. We've seen with Everton and with Forest how difficult it can be to stay in front of the financial fair play and all the various other regulations. So it's smart for them to do a bit of business this way. For sure.
I didn't realise how much business Nottingham Forest had done.
Again?
Scrapping, yeah.
Most of them out or in?
Most out, by the looks of it.
After the last time, I'm massively surprised. Has Konor gone for refreshment? Has he got an ice cream? He's got an ice. He's got a choc ice. Good man.
So the outgoings, they had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, no, sorry, 5. They had 5 loans end. Gio Reyna, Nuno Tavares, Gonzalo Montiel, Rodrigo Ribeiro, and Divock Origi all went back to the parent clubs. They've loaned out a few players. Nobody really stands out, although they have loaned out Lewis O'Brien to LAFC in the MLS. They've released Felipe, Checo Kuyate, Wayne Hennessy, Harry Arter, and Scott McKenna.
Check Kuyate. Surprised.
Yeah, well, I think he's getting on a bit now. I think he's had a few injuries. He was never really a starter at Forest. They've brought in then
about the 15 goalkeepers that Nottingham Forest has.
Let's not throw shade, Konor.
Some deal for Marko Stamenic from Red Star Belgrade, who's then been loaned out straight to Olympiacos. Eric De Silva Moreira from St. Pauli, whoever he is, has come in. Carlos Miguel from Corinthians, Shea Cahill from Brisbane Roar. I wonder if Shea Cahill's Tim Cahill's son. Made a Portuguese signing, Jota Silva from Vitória Guimarães. And then the big one is Elliot Anderson, that we mentioned before, 35 million from Newcastle. I'm not seeing a massive amount for... they've also got rid of Orel Mangala and Moussa Niakate both to Lyon. So there's definitely a trimming of the roster at Forest. I don't know if it's going to be enough to keep him out of trouble. Nuno Espirito Santo's a great manager. He's shown he can do it in the Premier League, but it's all a bit scattergun from up top in who they're getting rid of, who they're signing. It doesn't inspire a massive amount of confidence.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
You're wrong.
Ever since their promotion campaign in 22-23, is it me or has Nottingham Forest been in a relegation battle for the 3 seasons they've been in the top flight?
Pretty much. With the points deductions, they were fairly safe last season, but it's just they've brought in so many players and had such a massive revolving door. It's been really difficult for any manager to actually pin anything down. Steve was saying they'll be relying on defence. Yeah, possibly. Awonyi can score a few. Chris Wood can score a few. Ilanga has probably been one of the best bits of business they've done. Callum Hudson-Odoi, I hope, is a player that kicks on because I've always quite liked him. I've always felt he's capable of anything else. Steve was saying they'll be fine. I'm not so certain.
Is Gibbs White still there?
Yes, that's another good bit of business.
I find it really unfair when all these teams start starting tag teams.
That's terrible.
Moving swiftly on.
Yes, it's a long night. It's a long day.
Well, we'll still need to do our league predictions, and we're already over an hour in. So I'll run through the last few. Southampton, new boys to the league. Fair few releases. Stuart Armstrong and Roman Perot Lianco, probably the most notable names there. They've loaned out a few youth players by the looks of it. On a free, they've brought back Adam Lallana, which I think, from a sentimental point of view, is a really nice little transfer.
Yeah.
I hope he does well for him.
Outgoings, did you mention Che Adams to Toriano on a free?
No, that hasn't actually shown up. But yeah, you're quite right. Che Adams has gone to Torino.
Oh, it's Torino. Okay.
Yeah, he's gone over to the Italian league. Steve-O reckons the 3 promoted clubs, Wolves, Everton and Bournemouth, are all worse off. I don't agree with Wolves.
If Wolves somehow go down this season, we're going to have to check on James at the end of the season.
He will not be all right. Quite a few incomings for Southampton. Lallana, a player called Rento Takayoku, I've never heard of. Taylor Howard-Bellis from Man City, his move's been made permanent after impressing in the Championship.
Didn't they sign Ben Mee? Or who am I thinking of?
Ben Brereton Diaz.
Okay, the center back. Help me out. Bree. That's who I was thinking about. Did they sign him?
They've not bought any cheese.
Oh.
Stop it, Daniel.
I
did a bad jokes on this show.
Charlie Taylor has come in from Burnley, who's a solid, dependable player. Nathan Wood from Swansea, Sugarawa from Alkmaar. Flynn Downs, who was good for them in the Championship last season, has signed permanently from West Ham. Ben Brereton Diaz, who did okay when he came in at Sheffield United last season. He's transferred from Villarreal. And that's about it. I don't see it being enough to keep him up. But there's some decent business in there. I think of the 3 promoted teams, they've got the second best chance of staying up. Connor, breaking news from Fabrizio Romano. Martin Zubamendi rejects Liverpool after doing the same to Bayern and Arsenal in recent years. He's staying to Sociedad and signing the new contract. He's actually staying with Sociedad for less money than Liverpool were offering.
We do have more breaking news. Feyenoord eyeing Osimhen loan move from Brighton. So Feyenoord are looking on a deal to sign Brighton winger Ibrahim Osimhen on loan. 19-year-old winger was signed by the Premier League club for a fee of around £16 million. A deal was agreed in January, and the player joined up with Brighton this summer. Now it appears he'll go out on loan. So nothing too significant there, but this just popped up on my Sky News Transfer Center feed, and I figured I'd share it.
I appreciate that.
Zubamendi.
You can't argue with him wanting to stay with Hometown Club.
No, it's very admirable. It's an old school decision, really.
I respect that.
Yeah,
I really like their Brighton's new manager. He's American, and
anyway, enough of that.
All right, where were we?
Who's up next? Is it the white half of North London?
Yeah, we're all feeling a little bit Spursy. Again, they've had a good clear out. Released Eric Dyer, Ivan Perisic, Ryan Sessegnon, Japhet Tanganga. I believe Tanganga has ended up at Millwall, where he was on loan last season. They've finally got Tanji and Dombele off the books. Their record signing.
Bella, yeah.
Joe Rodon's gone to Leeds. Troy Parrott has gone to AZ Alkmaar. They've loaned out Pierre-Emile Højbjerg to Marseille. Brian Hill's been loaned out to Girona. Emerson Royal, as we said before, has gone to AC Milan. And they've brought in Timo Werner on loan again. He did okay for them last season.
Yeah, he did fine.
Did a little bit, that's fine. They brought in Lucas Bergvall from Dujardin. I'm not sure really about him. They've signed a massive, somebody full of potential from Leeds, Archie Gray.
Yeah.
That's a massive signing for the future. If he hits the ground running in the league, it'd be brilliant because he really did put in some incredible performances for Leeds last season, did Archie Gray. And then, as we've already talked about, 65 million quid on a player who's had one good season in the Premier League, Dominic Solanke. I'm doing a bit of a disservice there because when Solanke was at Liverpool, I said multiple times, as soon as he scores one goal, the floodgates will open. It took him dropping down to the Championship.
We're still waiting, though.
I think Dominic Solanke...
19 goals last season.
I think he's going to transform Spurs. And I think Spurs... He's going to be a revolution for Spurs. Because him and Son is going to be a deadly duo. As much as I hate to say it, they're just going to be playing off each other.
That Bergvall, however it's spelled, is supposed to be incredible and could seriously push Madison out. Yeah, who knows? See how he hits the ground running if he does play that way.
I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this with respect, Konor, about you saying that him and Son are going to hit the ground running the partnership. Son Heung-min has had to make so many new partnerships because of the revolving door of players up top. I think he could be the next player out the door.
No.
Do you think he goes to Saudi, or do you think he comes up?
I think he goes. I think he goes to Newcastle.
Newcastle has
not this year
on the wing, and Harvey Barnes. Wait, who's their other winger? Anthony Gordon. You know what?
I should know this
because I don't know who the other Newcastle winger is.
Give me a second.
I'm just saying that how many times can you build a partnership with somebody if they keep replacing them all the fucking time? Yeah. Kulusevski,
I think he's on his way out the door. I don't think he's favored.
He's just on a new contract.
Well, there's rumors that he's on his way. Steven was talking about it on his own Elite FPL show. Blame him, not me.
Yeah, I suppose on the other wing it's Jacob Murphy, as Steve says, and Harvey Barnes. There's an opening in that Newcastle squad. In fairness, I don't see it being either of them, to be honest. You say about Son making partnerships. Son's going to get to either drop back into the 10 or move across to the left where he's more prolific, and he's going to have somebody playing up top who can do all the sort of striker donkey work. When you bring in the likes of a Brennan Johnson on the other side and Madison playing the 10, it could go very well for Spurs, but it all hinges on how Dominic Solanke, with a few more years under his belt, adapts to being the lead man at a bigger club. And if, of all things, if he can supplant Richarlison.
I'm going to say with great respect. With great respect.
He's just
Konor, with all due respect to Konor, I'm guessing there's a tree stump in your garden that will do a better job up front than Richarlison would for Tottenham Hotspur.
A good point from Steve. Spurs have competition, which is great. Yeah, competition for places. Bring the best out of each other. I see a pretty good season for Spurs again, which we'll come to in a minute. It's KPB. I wonder why you're saying this, KPB. Spurs will be shit from the Arsenal fan. We'll see. It's a lot of money to invest. The last time Spurs spent this money on a striker who had been playing well at a club at the other end of the table was Richarlison. And how well's that gone? But
it's gone very, very badly.
Yeah. 2 teams left. Let's plough through.
Yes.
One of them has done some very good business, and it's the next one, West Ham.
Yes, new manager.
Yeah, Julian Lopetegui's come in. They've seen out Tilo Kehrer, who it never worked out for him at West Ham. Ogbono's finally been released. I think he's about 35 now.
I was just going to say, I believe West Ham had to have the 2 signings of the summer for me. Somerville and Fulkrug.
Somerville, yes, very good signing. Fulkrug on paper is a decent signing. He's 31. He's a traditional number 9 in that he's a big lump and he likes to nod it around. It remains to be seen how he'll adapt to the Premier League. On paper, good signing, and I'm excited to see how it works because, like I say, with Somerville on the wing, and I can't remember who's on the other side of Jared Bowen.
Yep.
Oh, sorry, just quickly. Luton have scored 2-1.
Yeah.
And according to friend of the show, Fabrizio Romano, West Ham did complete the signing of Wan-Bissaka from...
That's a big signing.
That's a good signing. Yeah, I like that.
It also says the end of the day for Cufaldo.
Yeah, but again, competition for places isn't a bad thing. And then they brought in that Jean-Claire Todibo as well. A really good signing.
They made some smart moves. Ariola's cemented himself as first choice keeper now, as well. So that's a good signing from last year, of course, and he's really did a good job. To be fair, I think West Ham. Well, as we know, West Ham had a good run in Europe last year.
And
It's
the
going to be exactly. Well, they won a trophy last in Europe, and how many teams can say they've won a trophy in Europe in recent times? English teams, for that matter.
Not a lot. Just to run through another couple of signings, sorry. West Fodering is a backup keeper. Lewis Guillem, another highly rated attacker from Palmeiras. And they've spent big money on Max Kilman from Wolves. Steve agreeing, excellent signing. Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Yeah, I really rate Wan-Bissaka.
For low money. For low money, in my opinion.
With Fotheringham coming in on a free from Sheffield United, does Fabianski force his way out the door?
Yeah.
From Japan?
I think he
will stay as a third choice.
Writing's on the wall for Fabianski at this point. I mean, he's getting into his latter 30s at this point. I think he will drop down the divisions a little bit if he stays in the England.
I think Fabianski is good enough to be a starter for a lower mid-table club.
I personally think he'd do a better job between the six and Arna at United, but that's my personal opinion.
You watch Forest still signing. They like signing keepers. Cam getting in on the love for Fulkrug, saying he likes Fulkrug for some reason. Reckon he'll do half decent. Could well do. And he's in his first FPL draft.
I don't have any West Ham players in my FPL team.
I don't yet.
The way they're going, some of the players that are in your FPL team may become West Ham players.
I might have to look at Wan-Bissaka, Somerville, and Fulkrug.
So I've got to admit, I know a few West Ham fans, and they're quite excited about Somerville. So I do agree with what Konor was saying on that side of things. Is he a massive signing? No, but could he be one of those sleeper signings, which are like Andy Robertson when Liverpool signed him from Hull, where you go 5 million. Now he's worth triple that.
It was 8 million, wasn't it, from Hull? Yeah.
All right, let's plow through the last club, shall we?
Yeah, Wolves, two big losses in Pedro Neto and Max Kilman. When he was fit, Pedro Neto was right up there in terms of the highest assisters in the league, even with limited involvement. So he'll be a loss, as will Kilman at centre-back. And I get Steve-O's thinking saying that they'll be sort of worse off without him, but they've brought players in. They've made Tommy Doyle's move permanent from Manchester City. And they've brought, I don't know anything about these players, Rodrigo Gomez, Jorgen Strand Larsen, Pedro Lima, and Arthur Napster.
Larsen is a very promising young striker. I believe he started the majority of games for Celta Vigo last season, but they were in a relegation fight for the majority of the La Liga season, and I think that's where Wolves will be this season. So if he gets game time, I think it will take him a while to adjust, but I think he'll thrive a month or two into the season.
Fair enough. Yeah, I hope you're right. And obviously, there's still time to do a bit more business.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just enough time for more business. Just enough. Should we think, as we are over an hour and 20 minutes now, nearly in, Dan, shall we go through our predictions? As you said, they just don't score enough. The average is 0.5 a game.
And you mean Romano there, Steve, was saying, isn't Fab 39 or 40? I've no idea.
Yeah, tell us what you mean, Steve. We'll go at you. Right, so who wants to go first with their predictions then for the season?
I'll go first. We starting with top four?
No, I'll tell you what, let's start from the bottom up.
All right. So from the bottom up, I just changed this today. 20th, I have Forest. Right now, I have Bournemouth getting relegated at 19th, just because purely on the fact that they sold Solanke. If they can do a crude piece of business and get in a good striker before the window closes, I think that will bump them up a little bit. 18th, I have Leicester City. I don't know when the points deduction or FFP is going to hit Leicester City, but I just don't see them doing enough to stay up. And there's my bottom three.
Okay, we have. So I'll just tell you now, I have one the same as you. But, sorry, Fabianski. Yeah, it'll be around about that. It's about 38, 39.
Something like that, yeah. So just to confirm, Connor, your bottom three again. 20th is Forest. 19th is
Bournemouth.
Again, 18th is
Leicester.
Yeah, I have none of those.
Well, go on then, Matt.
20th, Everton.
I was
because of the FFP and PSR problems.
Okay, sure.
And also, if the Tekkers to go through, administration could be looming.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not just being anti-Everton as a Liverpool fan. I'm being realistic here.
You've got Steve-O there, Connor.
Yeah. 19th, Fulham.
Jesus fucking Christ. What is it about Fulham that you hate?
Tony Khan. It's legit. It's fair enough. 18th though is a very sensible pick, to be fair, and actually, it's Ipswich because they are going to struggle. I said this from the moment we started the stream. Ipswich are going to struggle really, really badly. KPB in the chat saying Everton will survive again. We'll wait and see that sort of things. And Steve-O in the chat is saying that me and you are both mad, Connor. Apparently.
I don't. So if you want my honest opinion, the only reason I put Bournemouth at 19th is because they sold Solanke. If they buy somebody half decent that can score goals in the Premier League, maybe 5 to 7.
Sorry, Connor, I'm being heckled from the gallery. Say it again, Christopher. Ipswich for Europe. You are on the couch tonight. You are on the couch tonight for that comment. I know you've been there to watch Pink perform, but you know. And what? You think you know someone? You think you know someone? Yeah, Connor. Connor says hi. As Dan Griffin missed the run in from Christopher just now as well. So I'll fill Dan in quickly. You're muted, Dan, still.
Yeah, sorry about that. My mum was carrying something through and her back went, so I just had to provide emergency lifting. Yeah.
Not ideal.
So what was your 18th place?
18th was Ipswich Town.
Okay.
Chris ran in saying Ipswich for Europe.
And I agree with him. Nah, I'm joking. I don't have Ipswich for Europe.
Yeah. Right, before I do mine, we'll just catch up in the chat a little bit.
Yeah.
KPB saying Everton will survive again. Steve-O saying you two are both mad. Asking me to restore some order. KPB with his own prediction of Spurs 20th. Forest 19th and Fulham 18th. So I am noting all these down. They're going in the spreadsheet as we say. But the boss is in. Shoulders back, tits out, and watch for the shoot.
Evening, Si. We welcome to the stream, Si. Well, we've decided, by the way, that Everton are going down.
From the sensible side of things.
Yeah. I've made a rational argument on that one.
No, I meant
Fulham, I just hate. Fulham, I just fucking hate.
The bottom of the pile, I've got Ipswich.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, valiant losers.
They're gonna struggle. They're gonna struggle, Connor.
Bye. You're
Connor's walked off
anyway.
in a huff. Connor's walked off in a huff.
19 Southampton. Much business is done again. I don't see it lasting.
Is it quality or is it quantity? We'll find out.
Well, that's the thing. And 18, because of that revolving door I mentioned earlier, Nottingham Forest. And although, to be honest, when I look at my teams from 18th to probably 14th or 13th, there isn't going to be a right lot in it.
No.
But I don't know. I've got a feeling. That's all I can put it down to.
So the next one, shall we do 17th to 11th?
No, let's do 17 to 14.
Okay, Connor, you're up first.
So he just quickly says, "Thank you, Dan," and then you say Forest. Oh dear.
17, I have Southampton. I think they'll be in the relegation scrap, moving from 18th to 17th all year long. This one was tough, but somehow they managed to avoid relegation time and time again. Everton, and 15th, I have Wolves, just because Wolves is the team that are anywhere from lower to lower mid-table to mid-table. They're just, Wolves is just there for the vibes.
Fair enough. I actually have two the same as you there, and if you could just give us your 14th place as well.
Ipswich.
That is ambitious. That is ambitious. And people call me an idiot.
That's backing them to survive.
To be fair, I think last season I'd put Burnley to finish comfortably. I think I nearly put them top 10. I can't remember.
I put them 10th. Yeah.
Oh, it was you that did it. Okay.
Yeah. So in that vein, here comes my 17 to 14.
So 17th, Man U.
Nottingham Forest.
Okay, so you've got them in and around.
Yeah, I think it's again a lot of it could be interchangeable. I just think those three will go down, but the bit fair, the bottom five are interchangeable for me, really. 16th is Bournemouth. Again, losing Solanke, the big one for them. 15th, me and Connor singing from the same hymn sheet. It's Wolves for me. And 14th, I've got Brentford. Carvalho will not be enough to get him high up the table.
Did you copy my spreadsheet here, Mr. Lewis?
Oh, just wait till you hear mine, Connor. This will freak you out.
I'm joking.
So going from 17th to 14th on mine, 17th, again, just based on a feeling, Leicester. Obviously, points deductions could change that. Leicester and Forest very much interchangeable. 16th, the same as Connor, Everton, based purely on the quality of the defence. And 15th, we've all got the same, Wolves. All three of us predicted Wolves 15th.
And you know what? Jane would be happy with that, wouldn't he, as well?
Yeah, I'd take it, yeah. Surviving. And then 14th, I actually changed this just today. Dropped them down a place, Bournemouth. Solanke will be a big loss to them, and it entirely depends who they bring in. But 14th for a club like Bournemouth in the Premier League is still a massive achievement.
Absolutely. Right, so Connor, you're doing 13th to
13 to 10.
13 to 10.
13th, I have Brentford, because I don't know, the most well-known song by The Clash. Should Ivan Toney stay or should he go? That's really the dilemma I had with Brentford. 12th, I had Fulham. Again, they did a whole bunch of business, but that defense really scares me. I think they'll do enough on the attacking end of the pitch to finish comfortably. And 11th, I have Manchester United in the same spot where they finished last.
Oh,
Man United didn't finish 11th last season.
Did they finish 12th?
They finished 8th.
Oh, I dropped them further than I thought I dropped them.
We're going to have a different opinion here, that's for sure.
That is a big one, said the actress to the bishop. And just and your 10th place, please, mate.
Crystal Palace.
Okay. Interesting. I've got another one exactly the same as you. And in that block, I've got another club, but not quite in the same position. Steve with the appropriate level of shock. Man U at 11th. I do not see that happening whatsoever. But
it's 3-1 to Burnley, by the way.
Hooray! I mean, not hooray. I don't like seeing Luton lose, but hooray for my Burnley supporting friends.
Right.
Go on then, Matt. 13 to 10.
In an absolute shocker, Konor's going to look like he's intelligent.
You put Man U 13th?
Yep.
You're a fucking idiot.
No, I'm joking, of course. 13th is Leicester City.
That's ambitious.
Bold.
Well,
You put Man U 11th. You can't call anybody bold.
Oh, believe me, it's going to get even bolder momentarily.
Don't cross the boss. And Matt, apparently you're ahead of Steve-O.
I didn't know he wasn't watching live TV. I apologise.
Well, it's just a notice, that's all.
It's rare that I'm actually we are actually ahead of people watching along with us.
That's very true.
Okay, sorry.
The Paramount Plus.
Yeah, 12. I've gone for the tag team of Brighton and Hove Albion.
All right.
I think the change of manager is gonna hurt them personally.
Fair enough.
My personal opinion. 11th, again, bold for me. Southampton.
Haven't done enough, in my opinion.
Sometimes it's not what you've done, it's what others have done and made their team weaker sometimes.
One quick shout out for
I understand you.
Those pink third kits.
It's lush. Absolutely lush.
Like them a lot.
Conor, get one. Conor, get one.
I'm going to think, once we get in the new house sometime this week, and I have enough money saved up, I will buy one.
Looking forward to it, mate.
And I will wear, if we cover a Southampton game this season, I will wear it.
I will do it at some point, I'm sure. And 10th, I've gone for Ivan, Newcastle.
Wow.
What are they putting in the water down your way?
Not enough lead.
Wait till you get where I put Newcastle. You guys are both gonna.
Bear in mind,
in the league.
I'd like to point out that this one down here, he said 11th for Man United.
Yeah, Sai saying, can we get these full predicted tables up on Twitter sometime after the show, please? Yes, what I'll do is I will snip them as they stand and fire the screenshot over to Matt to put on the Twitter account. But like I said, after the transfer window shuts and on that transfer window night, we will be making any tweaks that we feel necessary once we've got the full picture of the squads. Mm-hmm. Steve was saying Southampton that high. I'll have to reevaluate my FPL picks if that happens. Yeah, that's.
I like to point out sometimes we've seen weird stuff happen in football. And that's why we play the game. We don't just talk about it.
True.
Because on paper, Man City should win hands down every game. They don't.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
so I'll just quickly do my 13 to 10. 13 Brentford. They've kept hold of Ivan Toney. They kept the squad largely together, so that was exactly the same as Konor. Again, they could go as for looking at my table here. They could go as high as 9th potentially. It's also interchangeable in that middle section. But I've gone for 13th. 12th, same as you, Matt. I've gone for Brighton. Mainly because I didn't know where to put them. They had a really storming season, then they had a shit season, so I'm going for them to land somewhere in the middle of the table. But again, if they keep everybody fit in the play like they did the season before last, who knows? But for now, Brighton slotting to 12th. Steve was saying they were garbage in the Championship about Southampton, but they still got to the Premier League.
They got promoted.
My 11th spot, I've given to Fulham. Because while they've done a little bit in the transfer market, I don't see them doing much, but that would still represent them going higher than last season by 2 places. And then cracking the top 10 for me, they've done very good business, but will it be enough to go further? I've gone for West Ham.
All right.
Top 10 finish for West Ham would be fantastic.
Now, we're heading into further to the top 10 now. So Dan, obviously we've got 9 to 5 or
We'll Dolly Parton it, yeah. We'll do 9 to 5.
okay,
And
Connor.
then we'll do our top 4s.
Okay, so
Okay, Connor.
ninth place, I have Brighton. They're quietly building a decent squad. They don't have, as far as I know, they don't have that European football distraction. So I think they're going to put all their eggs into the Premier League basket. And I think they finish higher than what everybody has. And plus, they got an American manager, so got to back the Americans. Eighth, I have Chelsea. Eighth, I have Chelsea. I have no idea what their squad is going to look like this season, but I needed a place to put Chelsea this season. They do have Europa Conference League.
You could have put them in 11th.
They do have European football, and on paper they should win the Conference League with ease, but this is fucking Chelsea we're talking about. Anything can happen. Seventh, I have West Ham. Purely because of the squad they're building. They are bringing in building a squad that can challenge for top 4, but I don't think they get top 4 because David Moyes is still managing them. But I do think they finish.
No, he's not.
Oh, he's not?
No, it's Julian Lopetegui.
Okay. Which is respectable, and I believe it's a European spot. But I look for West Ham to push some of these bigger sides this season.
Fair enough. Yeah.
I got Aston Villa. I trust in Unai Emery, and I believe Aston Villa would, again, like they did last year, but without the European distraction, I believe they'll test some of the big boys. And the fifth, I have Newcastle.
Okay.
Because I like the business that Newcastle is doing. And if the Mark Guehi transfer goes through, I think that would just be a top-tier signing for them and solidify that back line. Plus, handsome Nick Pope is back in goal from injury, and he just adds a whole different quality to that goalkeeping spot.
Steve was saying the first
Is that quality in your bedroom?
There's been many. I don't think Conor picked up on that, or if he did, he's just thinking about it.
Probably, yes. Handsome Nick Pope, yes, absolutely. Nick Pope and his pole. Right, moving on. My number 9, Dan, is the home of Winnie the Pooh at Disney World, Crystal Palace.
Okay, Palace in 9th.
See, I should have brought this up at my point. I was debating between Crystal Palace at 9 and Brighton at 10. Like, I went back and forth in my head a little bit, but I ultimately decided to put Palace at 10.
Fair enough. 8th, I've gone for West Ham.
The Hammers at 8.
Yeah, I think that's a good business, but there are teams with better quality ahead of them still, I think. On this occasion. 7th, I've gone for Villa. They're going to keep. I think they're going to keep their level high still. I think the Champions League football is only going to add to because they're playing so regularly. They have established a good team. They're going to keep flowing. It's going to keep going well for them. So that's my personal belief. If I could be wrong, but that's what I believe. 6, I'm going to go. 6, I'm going to go for the team who's got enough players to actually field 2 full squads, and that's Chelsea.
That's high flying for them, in my opinion. But
yeah, but I think they have got some really good players. They may have quite a lot, but they've got some good players. And 5th, I've gone for Spurs.
Okie doke, Spurs in 5th. That's a solid shout for Spurs. Steve letting us know that it's 4-1.
Yeah, I did go like that. I didn't want to say it out loud because I got shout out for Spurs.
Oh, that's what that was. I thought you were going to give Conor 4 seconds to stop talking because you were whinging.
Oh, no. It's fine. Vitinho scored this one, yes.
Nice. Right then. My 9th, my Dolly Parton, my 9 to 5. 9th place, Chelsea. I just don't see them getting it together that well. There's too many players, inexperienced manager. It's just not quite going to happen. I think there'll be times when they score absolute bundles of goals and times where they get absolutely hammered, and it's just going to result in mid-table mediocrity. Eighth place, one of my higher finishes, I think, compared to the. Oh no, I'm only one place higher than you, Matt, and two higher than Konor. Eighth place is Crystal Palace. I think Glasner's going to get a tune out of them. That is based on them still having Gained and Eze right now. So that may be the big mover when we come to transfer deadline day. Seventh, Newcastle. Again, my seventh to fifth are all pretty interchangeable, but they've got a good squad. Newcastle, they're not in the Champions League anymore, but I don't see them edging past sixth and fifth, which for me are Man United and Spurs, respectively. United have done some good business this window. If they can keep everybody fit, they should crack into the top six. And Spurs have done good business. Again, a lot hinges on Solanke. I think even without Solanke, they still had a shout for being fifth because I wrote this before that deal was done. So that's what I'm going with.
Fair enough. Right, Con, do you want to go with your? Ironically, McCabe in the chat is mentioned 4-1, but technically it could be 4-1, which is what he's got to do now as well, which is perfect, really. How it goes. And Spurs will be Spursy. But what does Connor think of his top four?
So my top four goes as follows. I got Spurs in fourth, Liverpool in third, Arsenal second. And I just changed this today. I originally had Arsenal first, but my brain knocked some common sense into me, and I put Man City first as champion.
Yeah, I can see that. It's annoying, and I don't want them to do 5 in a row.
But it's bound to happen. More than likely, they're just going to get, like a slap on the wrist from the FA and fined £200,000 or something crazy. I don't know.
That's the big thing, of course. If and when the verdict comes down on the 115
well, they said
charges,
it'd be by September, didn't they?
People say a lot of things.
If the verdict were to come down this season, could they? There's a lot of talk of them being relegated. Could they be relegated mid-season?
It depends what the punishment are for the various charges, because the amount of charges there are and the breadth of things that they cover all come with different punishments. So it's whether each charge gets punished individually or it's come on as a collective, and they decide that it's just a points deduction, or it's a fine, or it's a fine for this, points for this, points for this, fine for that, points for this. It's incredibly complex. And the fact is that nobody knows what it's going to look like.
Which is why it's taken so long.
Yeah.
Has the court hearings already started?
No, anyway.
Oh, I've not got a clue. Rest is Football did a few months back did a great interview with somebody with a lot more legal knowledge than myself that broke it down quite well. So anybody who wants to know a little bit more about the inner workings of how they're getting to these decisions, I'd suggest go and listen to that.
Absolutely agree on that side of things for sure. I'm going to do my top four now, and I'm going to start with Manchester
City
United.
Oh, top four. Interesting.
I do think because of the defence they brought in, I think that's a major problem they had for a few years. De Ligt's the man for the job. De Ligt is going to be their Yap Sam.
You reckon?
De Ligt?
I think he is going to be there for the next 10 years, and he's going to be immense for them. It's annoyed me to fuck.
Fair enough.
Particularly for the comparatively small amount of money they're paying for him as well. That's what amazes me so much about it. Third is Man City. And here's why. Because I think they'll get a point deduction, not a relegation. and it will drop him down to third.
Okay.
But that'll be it.
I've done mine with no points deductions taken into account.
But at the
I can see how you get there.
At the same time, there's weaknesses in that City team. There really is. We've seen it and Kevin De Bruyne has got knees made of paper. It feels like nowadays. Haaland, when he's fit, he's unplayable. Obviously, he's one of the best players I've ever seen. He's scary how good that man is, but he has those injury problems. And City don't. I mean, yeah, they get the job done most of the time. But Alvarez was doing that job last season. Who's the person going to be going up top in place of Haaland? I mean, probably Foden, but
Oscar Bob.
Well, the thing is, they've got players who can come in and do the job, but Alvarez was a reliable backup. He ain't there no more.
That was my question. If Haaland were to get injured and be out for an extended period of time like he was last season, what worries me about Man City and what Man City fans should take into account is who's going to play up top if Haaland's out for an extended period of time. It could be Phil Foden, but Phil Foden's more comfortable as like the number 10 or on the wing. I haven't seen him personally play up top outside of Football Manager and FIFA, but only time will tell, I guess.
In his early days coming through, Pep played Phil Foden at left wing back. So it could be anybody. But let's not forget, I think it was Pep played James Milner. Oh, no, it would have been too early for that. Never mind, I'm talking shit.
At that point in his career, he'd have played anywhere, let's face it.
Yeah.
Second, Arsenal.
Liverpool fan.
I've gone with my heart. Yes, I've gone with my heart.
I went with my head.
Yeah, well, look what that got you.
Well, we'll find out. We'll find out at the end of the season.
You watch me get 20 out of 20 right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all right, Matthew.
If I get 20 out of 20, I will be asking to be proclaimed with a golden scepter.
There is more chance of me doing the one chip challenge again than there is of you getting 20 out of 20.
At no point did I say it wasn't biased.
Yeah.
At no point did I say it wasn't biased. KPV.
So once again, from the sensible side of the room, number 4, Liverpool. Arne Slot's coming in. We've had a good pre-seasons by all accounts. It'll take a bit of time for him to hit the ground running. This is another one that could very well change after the transfer window's done, depending on if we do any business. But as with any season, I would take a top 4 finish, and the trophy would be a cup win would be a bonus. I'd be quite happy with that. Third is possibly my biggest call, and I've been alluding to it throughout the podcast, typically when we're talking about the transfer activity. I'm backing Unai Emery to keep Villa in the Champions League places.
Bold.
And keep him into third. Yeah, that is my rogue pick, if you like. I've just got a feeling about Emery, so watch that be completely wrong and me look a complete fool. And my top 2... I've had to go Arsenal second and City winning. However, if Arsenal were to sign a clinical striker, that would possibly change my mind, because at some point City have to run out of steam, and an Arsenal or a Liverpool team under Klopp would have had a season where they win it. It's just the law of averages; they have to run out of steam eventually. But I just don't see it quite being this season. KPB, yeah. Top 3, Liverpool, Arsenal, City. What order? Fuck knows. Fair enough. Just one last little bit of business before we wrap up, lads. I've also got a section for top scorer, for the top scoring player, individual, top scoring team, the player with the most assists, the player with the most clean sheets, and who will be top at Christmas.
Okay.
You want me to go first?
Yeah, if you want to just go with your top scoring player first.
I have Erling Haaland as my top scoring player.
Fair enough.
I would
Matt?
pick.
I am going to. I'm going to say, based on everything I've seen pre-season, etc., I am going to go. I'm going to go with Darwin Núñez.
Left field pick. I hope you're right. I've gone for Mo Salah to return to the top of the pile, and that is complete bias.
Respectable.
Yeah, and I can't see anything really wrong with predicting Haaland either, Connor. Núñez, I hope you're right, Matt. I really do. Spurs top by Christmas, last by end of the season.
That would be a massive drop off.
So next up, top scoring team as a whole.
I went back and forth with this. I went back and forth between Liverpool and Manchester City, but ultimately I picked Manchester City as the top scoring team.
Yeah, I did. I'll just get mine out of the way. I picked that as well. I think they'll score the most goals overall.
I'm not stupid. I picked Man City.
Clean sweep. Lovely. Most assists.
Okay, I went back and forth with this pick in my head. I went back and forth between Bukayo Saka and Kevin De Bruyne. Ultimately, I went with Saka because fuck knows if Kevin De Bruyne is going to be here the whole season or not. So I went with the safe pick and got Saka as the top assister.
Fair enough. Steve was saying if Matt gets 1 out of 20, he'll knight you himself.
We'll finish 15th. It's fine.
Yeah. Matt, your player with the most assists.
Most assists. There's some good choices here. And it's the end of the season, yeah, not at half time.
By the end of the season, yeah.
Okay. So the obvious one for me to go here for is Salah or De Bruyne. I'm tempted to go for a bit more of a left field pick. Because when don't I, to be fair. I'm gonna say Bruno Fernandes.
Okay. Bruno the bitch.
What should get sold before the end of the window?
Yeah. Now Bruno Fernandes has just signed a new contract.
Means fuck all nowadays.
Yeah, true. It just means the transfer fee is bigger. For my most assists, I've sort of laid the groundwork for this earlier on when I said that a team will go through spells of scoring a massive amount of goals and also getting trampled. I'm going to go for Cole Palmer.
I think Cole Palmer I was thinking about, but he does more scoring of goals nowadays than he does assisting. Not that he can't.
I think his combined goals and assists was over 20, and I think it was 12 goals and 11 assists or something like that. It was a fairly even split.
Most of them from the spot as well, because he's lethal from the spot.
Great penalty taker. Next up is most clean sheets. Certainly not Konor watching Nick Pope.
Team or player?
The player.
Okay, so which goalkeeper is keeping the most clean sheets?
So
yes.
I'll let you guys go first because I want to talk a little bit on mine.
The Keepers Union here.
Yeah. Right, I'll go first for this one then. I am picking the team who I think has probably got the best defence in the league, and that's Arsenal, so I'm going with David Raya.
I'm going to go with, as much as it paid me to say this, I'm going to go with Onana at Man United.
Really?
I think those two players coming from Bayern, because those two together are going to keep more out. And if you FIFA and I can on his deck chair, and it'll be fine.
Okay.
I generally think that there's the Man United defense is going to be miserly this season.
Not a shock that Raya's your pick, KPB. Member of the Goalkeepers Union, Connor, you have the floor.
I look back at the stats from the motorcycle goes by,
Sorry.
I looked I looked at the stats last season, and Arsenal had, as a team, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they had either the most or second most clean sheets in the league last season. Arsenal had the best defense in the league. They had the best goal differential in the league. So I'm going to go with David Raya as the leader for the most clean sheets.
Fair enough. Well, I say fair enough because that's who I picked as well. So I agree with you doing the thing that I did. Last but not least, who's going to be top at Christmas?
Following the trend of the last couple of seasons, Arsenal.
I'll spoil the party and just say that I picked Arsenal as well.
Okay.
Matt's going to say Everton and then get a massive points deduction, so they go down.
You know, it would be a massive shocker, to be fair. I'm going to say top of Christmas. I'm going to say Man City.
Okay. Well, Man City. Can't argue against it. But Man City top at Christmas to then finish third. Okay.
Doesn't say how many points it is, and I think I think it's in a very tight title race again. We've got some very, very good teams this year across multiple squads. I do think that if there's more than 10 points covering the top four, I'd be very surprised.
Yeah. That's right. That's it. We've got two of us predicting Man City to win the league. Matt predicting Liverpool. I hope Matt's right. My bold prediction is Villa to finish third. Looking at this,
mine is Matt's to finish 11th.
Yeah, that was the one I was looking for. Yeah, Southampton to finish 11th, Leicester finishing 13th. And Conor's not that bold a prediction. And Conor's bold prediction, Man United in 11th.
Hey, I just needed a controversial take, and I looked at what Man United did last season, so I think I just had them falling a couple places below where they finished last season.
I do hope that the boss is still watching. He may ban Konor from coming back on the show.
On the bright side, at least this is happening at the start of your holiday, so you can enjoy the rest of it now.
Absolutely. Right, so, guys, we'll be back on Sunday to cover Chelsea versus Manchester City. Should be a good game either way. We invite you all to join us for alternative commentary, for opinions, for the Halftime Pie Club. It will be back. Halftime Pie Club will be back. Konor knows what a pie actually is this year, so he actually will get a proper pie. Dan obviously probably head to the butcher's and get the most amazing lamb and mint sauce pie or something.
I could do actually.
Something artisanal. I might go for whatever I can grab from the shop on the way home from Norwich.
Or I might just go to Tesco and get myself a dirty doner kebab pucker pie.
I'm gonna have to look and see whatever the fuck we got in our frozen section at work.
Wow.
Good stuff.
Talk about bottom of the barrel. That's not the way it goes, especially at crap stadium like Tottenham.
A pie's a pie.
A pie is a pie when it comes to Pie Club. So guys, don't forget to check out Konor at Konor Knows Footy, and over on what is your YouTube channel, Konor, that you have been covering some games on?
I think it's the same as my Twitter, Konor Knows Soccer.
Worth checking out, guys. He's been covering EFL as well as a little bit of obviously MLS. Mr. Griffin.
Bang. Right
you
down
got it
there.
Right. First game, first one of the season, you got it right.
You may have noticed I twitched my shoulder just to see which one it was.
Yeah. Could go away, man. And obviously, you can follow me at Matt Attack UK. Follow the show at the Volley Show, and obviously the network at SJP World Media. Thank you to everybody for joining us today. Thank you for KVB, Steve-O in the chat, and everyone who's watching us on demand. We love you. We appreciate you. We'll be back on Sunday. That was a Volley. And for now, that's full time. We're out of here.
Adios.
love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't